side of the building and then crawling into that window and crawling into the Capitol building. One thing that is pretty stunning, because this has been going on for quite a bit of time now, that this breach happened, and yet we're still waiting for law enforcement to come and help out this Capitol Police. I'm seeing images right now of this law enforcement. I don't know exactly what they are, if they're National Guard or not, but they are starting to arrive on the scene. But this has taken quite a bit of time for them to come and help out Capitol Police that was completely overwhelmed. And I'm thinking back to the summer when those protests were taking place after the killing of George Floyd. If you remember that day when the president wanted to do a photo op in front of the church, and they cleared Black Lives Matter Plaza and the street in front of the church with tear gas, with law enforcement charging protesters who in that case were not breaching any federal property and were not being violent, and there they reacted very quickly. Right now, we're still waiting to see law enforcement intervene and try to get rid of the people, at least the people who are inside the Capitol building.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just very interesting to listen to some of the language that President Trump was using before all of this happened. I mean, talking about getting rid of the weak Congress people. That's the sort of language he was using to those crowds of people that came to listen to him and his son speaking. Kelevan, I mean, in terms of the scene there, I mean, we're receiving word that one woman's been shot and is in a critical condition. CPR is being given to her on the scene. We don't know who that is, but clearly things are developing into something no one could have ever imagined. And just to reply to your comment, the Virginia National Guard and 200 state troopers are being sent to Washington, D.C. That's what we're hearing from the New York Times. I mean, stuff that we could never have imagined. And it's just very difficult to see how developments pan out in the next 2 weeks, because on those very steps just behind the protesters, the president-elect is due to be sworn in 2 weeks today. Do you see the swearing-in process happening on time now that the process in that building behind the protesters has been interrupted in quite such a spectacular way?
Well, a couple of hours ago, I would have said, of course, nothing's going to prevent that inauguration from happening on January 20th, but I also wouldn't have never expected to see the images that we're seeing right now. That said, the inauguration is still 2 weeks away, and everyone here is obviously hoping that the situation will get under control quite quickly, and this is not something that is going to last days on end, and that the situation with the National Guard coming in and helping out, that they may take back control of the U.S. Capitol. That said, the problem, even if that inauguration is not directly threatened, the symbolic of seeing those protesters, part of them, the reason they managed to get up on some of the terraces of the Capitol building is because they climbed the stage and all of the stuff that is being set up specifically for that inauguration ceremony, and that's why they were able to climb on some parts of the Capitol building. So there is something very symbolic to it, but I think what is going to be interesting going forward in the next hours and days is how some of these die-hard Republican lawmakers who have supported Donald Trump till the bitter end, till just a couple of hours ago. I'm not even talking about the Mitch McConnells who had said days ago that this is now over, the certification will happen. I'm thinking of the people like Ted Cruz, who has led this effort to object to those results. how are these Republican lawmakers going to react? Because they were making a political calculation that they needed to show that they were supporting the president. Will this situation change some of their minds? That's going to be interesting to see how those Republicans who have supported Donald Trump from day one, how they will react to the situation and to the fact that the president still has not called on his supporters to leave the Capitol building.